This video documents my third attempt at making and firing primitive pottery. This time I dried the pots in my kiln so I could more carefully control the conditions and ensure no cracks formed during the drying process. Once they were dry, I took the still hot pots out of the kiln and placed them in a pre-built fire in my backyard. There was no need to preheat these pots since they'd already been dried and were still hot. Once the pots were all transferred, I stacked wood all around the pots and let the wood catch fire slowly. Once the wood was burning, I stacked even more wood on to ensure that all the pots were engulfed by the heat. As the fire grew, more wood was added to create a hot blazing fire. Here you can see the pots glowing red hot. Here I was recreating the ancient art of primitive pottery in my very own backyard. The pots were firing beautifully, and not a single crack was visible in any one of them. Later that night, I checked on the pots and they had all survived.
Now that, my friends, is the sound of success. After almost a year of trying and trial and error and failures, I finally achieved my goal and made some primitive pottery and fired it in the campfire and didn't have any cracks, and they held together. And you can tell the difference with this one of my previous ones. You can see some of the cracks in it. See the difference in the sound? Kind of a dull sound, and this stuff has a nice ceramic ring to it. Here's the other one I made. Nice little bulbous kind of globular jar. This one looks almost like a spittoon. And then this little guy, it's got some pretty fire clouds on it. Really interesting. And you can tell. So these are definitely a ceramic, and I have gotten them wet and they do not degrade or fall apart. So they definitely have been transformed into a ceramic. Just a cool pots made out of local North Georgia clay.
These successful pots represent 9 months of work, trial and error, and frustrating failures. But I didn't give up, and I finally reaped the rewards.